Hello, everyone. I am back. I was out yesterday because my work on my job was piling up. So I had to make an executive decision not to do YouTube yesterday at all because I need to get up on my work. So I'm in a better spot today. I know I'm late coming on, but my computer, my desktop, because usually when I go live, I have my desktop and my phone out. That way I can have access to, the comments on the desktop to highlight them if I need to without having to be doing all of this on the phone. But today, right before I got ready to push the button, the desktop decided to freeze. I mean, completely froze. I couldn't click on nothing. All I could do was Alt Control Delete to restart. So it took me an extra 5 minutes out of my way, but technology is great as long as it works. Oh, before I forget, let me put this phone on. Do not disturb. Because as soon as I start talking, it'll start ringing. And I don't want it. Okay, so hopefully we're good. Um, I'm surprised I didn't hear from my mom this morning. She had to have a colonoscopy done yesterday, and I didn't call her yesterday because usually after that, they give them that anesthesia, even though the procedure only takes about 15 to 20 minutes. But she usually, when she comes home, she lay around and crash for the rest of the day. So I didn't bother her. I thought she would have been calling me because Queen Esther will call every day. You don't get a call from her, so I'm wrong. So usually she'll wait till because I'm not an early bird. She'll call at 10 o'clock on the dot. If I tell her, I'll probably be up around 10. At 10:00, that phone gonna ring and Queen Esther's gonna be on the other end. So, you know, um, one of the things and she's a morning person. Out of everybody in our household growing up, she was the only one that was a morning person. You know how it is when you're not a morning person and morning people come through and they got that whole good morning, blah blah blah, what a whole conversation. She was in the house with 5 individuals that could have cared less about a conversation. We would just not even respond, but it didn't matter because she would keep on talking. You didn't gotta respond. My mom will keep on having the conversation, whether you choose to acknowledge it and get in it or not. That's just how Queen Esther is. Cause she's one of those people. You ever heard the phrase "they can talk to a brick wall"? That's my mom. She is completely um social, very social. Like she meets no strangers. And then everybody who's met my mom has always had the same things to say about her. Hey, MLW Fishing Man, thank you for coming through. Um, and thank you for thumbsing up the video. I appreciate that. Um, I'm just on having a little chit chat. Nothing particular going on today. Um, I was just talking about my mom because she is very social, very much the social butterfly. So you don't have to worry about her meeting any strangers because she meets nothing. She will she can have a long conversation about nothing with anybody. And it's funny because my daughter accuses me of being the same way, and I'm like, no, I don't think I'm that social. And she's like, you are, because she hates when we go somewhere. You know how it is when you're out and you're getting ready to walk towards the door and finishing up the conversation, but it turns into another conversation, which turns into another conversation. And next thing you know, it's 30 minutes later and you still haven't made it out the door to in the car. My daughter hates that part. She'll be like, we're so close to leaving, and then you want to start a whole nother conversation. And I'll be like, my bad. And then, I guess the older I get, I guess I am kind of getting a lot of her qualities because, you know, one thing I was laughing at myself yesterday morning because I was in my room, of course, I try to keep a nice wig collection so that whatever look I feel like going for, I can go for it for that day. So I was in there looking for a particular one, and I'm like, and this is my mama up and down. I couldn't find it. I was like, I know ain't nobody came in here and stole my wig. She don't care. It could be a slip. It could be her house shoes. If she can't find it, somebody done been in her house, which 9 times out of 10, she ain't never left. Somebody been in the house and got her stuff. So I found myself in the closet yesterday. So I know ain't nobody been in here and took my stuff. It's amazing how your parents will rub off on you and you'll end up sounding just like them. Because one of the things that my mom does that we all find somewhat annoying is she repeats herself. She will tell you the same thing 50 times. I don't care if she told you an hour ago. I don't care if she told you yesterday. She gonna repeat it again. And our thing is I was like, Mom, you told us that. Yeah, you told us that. Either that or we'll finish the sentence because we didn't heard this. So I found myself watching TV with my daughter, and this was back when, she was my baby slept in the bed with me up until she was, I think, 11 years old. Refused to sleep in her own room. So back then, whatever I had watched on TV is what she had to watch. So we would be sitting in there talking, and every night, and this is so Queen Esther, every night, when it was a show that used to come on in the 80s called Heart to Heart. I never could get into that show. So when whatever show it was that was going off that we usually watched before they came on, as soon as the music came on for the theme song for Heart to Heart, I'd be like, I don't like Heart to Heart. So I guess I was saying it every day. So when I got ready, when it came on this one particular day, she was like, Mom, before you even say it, I know you don't like Heart to Heart. So I was like, oh, I sound like Granny, don't I? She was like, yeah. Because, yeah, my mom is bad about repeating herself over and over again. So, and nobody asked me about my xantho mist, but I will remind myself 5 pumps a day keeps the heart problems away. That's gonna be my catchphrase for this xantho mist. This is one of my CTFO products that I use, and it is. Oh, I hate this screen because I can't never figure out how to hold this stuff the right way. Yeah, here we go. It's Twist and Mist, xantho mist, and it's supposed to help with cardiovascular stuff, inflammation, all kind of helpful things that come from the mangosteen plant. Like I've told y'all in the past, I'm not very familiar with mangosteen, but apparently it has a lot of healing qualities in it. So I'm giving it a try. I've been doing it now for about 3 weeks. I think next week will make a month. And I've just been doing 5 sprays every day. And that's simple as that. I'm done. The other product, and I have to admit, I haven't been having to use this as much. This is the CTFO muscle and joint pain relief. So this is made from hemp oil, and you just take the cap off, apply it to wherever you got your soreness or your pain. For me, it's usually my knees and my ankles, and it's a roll-on. Put the top back on, and you're done. And I have been using this for over a month. And I was using it every day, but I haven't had to use it lately because I haven't had anywhere where I was really, really sore. So this works. I stand behind this 100%. And I will say that with the xanthan I have noticed that my breathing has been really good since I've been spraying this every day because I have heart failure issues, and one of the symptoms of that is shortness of breath. So it it was good about helping me to resolve that. So I'm feeling the products. If you want to check them out, go to my website, which is listed in the description below, and check out the CTFO products. Most of them, well, I'm gonna say a good deal of them have CBD and CBDA. We do have some products like the xanthan mist that has no CBD in it. So you have CBD and non-CBD products. And I was so excited because one of my friends that sometimes she's on the live here, my friend Vanessa, she texted me yesterday about the products that she has been using, and she has such a good report. Now she's tried some things that I have not tried yet. So I told her, I may be reaching out to you to give a brief testimonial because I firmly believe the best way to advertise is through testimonials and words of mouth. You can provide all of these results and charts and graphs about what the research people found, but when you compare that to somebody telling you, I've used it and it works, it's gonna knock that out the way every time. Like just like if somebody said they used it and it didn't work, it don't matter how much research you've done. What you gonna remember is this person said they tried it and it didn't work. So far, I have been happy with the product. And CTFO stands for Changing the Future Outcomes. And like I said, it's healthcare stuff. They have creams for pain relief. They have vitamins, skincare products, a little bit of everything. So check out the website and try the product. So far, so good. I got no complaints. We don't have anything exciting going on to talk about today. That's not anything new because I don't have a lot of exciting stuff anyway. Yeah, when you work from home, everything every day kind of just runs together. It's the same stuff. You get up, you gotta have your routine, do what you gotta do, and then you go to bed. It's not a lot of, unless you got some outside activities going on, which I usually don't. My car can literally sit in the garage for a week because my daughter catches the bus. So if I don't have to run out to go to the grocery store or anything like that, my car can easily sit there for a week because I don't have a lot of outside activities that I'm involved in. And, I know I need to do better. I got to set a better example because I've been fussing at my daughter about not having extracurricular activities. And I guess she like, you don't do that and you fine. Why I got to get out there and do stuff? Difference is I've already done it. Like I've already been there, done that. I'm old now. I don't have to be everywhere all the time. I don't want her to become a homebody before she has a chance to get out and do stuff. But me and my brother was just talking about these kids are so different because I was asking him, his oldest daughter, who turned 18 back in October, and I was asking him a few minutes ago, I'm like, has she given any more? Has she tried for a driver's license yet? Because I know she said she took the written part back when she first turned 15 or 16, and it didn't go so well. So I think they told her she had to wait a certain amount of time. She could come back and try again. Well, kids now, they're not like when we was kids. I was telling my brother, and we were talking about how kids now have so many options. They're not in no hurry to get no car. When you grow up in the country where everything is a good 30 minutes away, and you got, like, my mom never did a lot of driving. She would do like little local driving around the town where we were from. But she's not one that's gonna be quick to up and run up to Decatur, which was like where everything was, and it was a good 20, maybe 30 minutes away, depending on what time of day it was. So we didn't get to do a lot of stuff before I was old enough to drive. So, honey, I couldn't wait to turn 16 to be able to go because my parents were very strict, and I know why, because you have to. But my dad worked a lot. He always worked 2 or 3 jobs. So he was the driver of the family. And he was either at work or he was asleep. So he didn't do a whole lot of extra, riding around and taxi cabin and all this stuff. So if we wanted to go to any event that was like at the school or whatever, that he would only allow us to, go with certain people that he knew. And there was one particular family. She was my best friend back then, Shireen. Um, and we're also related. We're also like we're more friends than cousins, but we are like distant cousins because it's one of those things where her grandmother and my grandmother were first cousins. So by the time I don't even know how you do that, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. But we were always in the same grade in school, so he and because he grew up with the family close by and he knew them, if we wanted to go somewhere and she invited us, we pretty much knew they were going to be okay with it. The only thing that might change about that is my dad and mama didn't believe in wearing nobody there either. So they quick to tell you, you're not going to wear out your welcome. And so when you're a kid, you don't understand. You're like, well, they say we can come. They say we can go, blah, 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 blah. And now that I got older, I kind of see where they were coming from with that because, my daughter sometimes be like, can so and so come over? And I be sitting there thinking like, and it's not like if somebody come over, I literally got to entertain them. She's 13 now. So it's not like a play date with 2 and 3 year olds. But sometimes I'll be like, I feel like being bothered today. But they, even though they're not really bothering me. And so when I think about it that way, I kind of see where my dad was coming from. Because as kids, we were like, well, we ain't bothering them. They don't have to do nothing for us. Not like they got to, we just over at the house. But, And my favorite aunt is my dad's sister, Annie. We call her sister. And I grew up in a family with 3 boys. We have a really big boy family. Like, I think the other year when we were getting ready to do the family reunion on my dad's side, we were counting up first cousins. And I think the number I ended up with was like somewhere between 45 and 50 first cousins. Yeah, first cousins. Because my dad has a lot of brothers and sisters, and all of them have kids. So, out of all of those kids, I'm gonna say 2/3 were boys, and only a third were girls. So my aunt was one of the siblings that had girls. She had 3 girls, and they were like stair step. Like, her youngest was 2 years older than me. The next one was 3 years, and the oldest was 4 years older than me. So we were like stair step. And going to that house was like going to Disney World. I got a chance to be around girls and not have to deal with no knuckleheaded boys, and it was just like a vacation. And one thing I said about my aunt, I could always ease up to it. Like, she would be over whenever I heard they were coming to visit. I already had my plan together that I'm going home with them, whether they know it or not. And see, if I ask, I already know the answer is no. But I figured out if I can ease up my sister and get her to ask, my dad ain't gonna say no to her. This is his oldest sister, his big sister. And so I would wait till my prime opportunity when my parents weren't paying attention, and I'd squeeze her by. Yeah, you ask my dad if I can speak that job. And she would just say, and so when they got ready to go, she'll just say, I think we're gonna take Lisa back with us. That's my nickname is Lisa. If you ever meet anybody in my family, a lot of them, I don't even know if they know my first name is Melissa because I've been Lisa for so long to everybody. Usually Melissa was reserved for school or work, but everybody else that's close calls me Lisa. So she would say, I'm gonna take Lisa back with us. And then you got my mom and dad over there kind of looking at me because they know I put her up to. They weren't gonna say nothing. So my mom would do her usual. Lisa don't need to go nowhere. She can keep her tail here at the house. And I'm looking at her like, quit messing up my game. Because getting past her wasn't the problem. It was getting past Billy King. Because if he said no, that was it. So, but yeah, most of the time, I don't think they ever said no. Sister never said no to me, and Dad and them never said no to her. So when I could go, you talking about somebody had their clothes packed up so quick, I already been halfway packed before she come over there. Only thing I got to do when they get ready to go is throw my stuff in a bag and jump in the car. I got nightgown, everything together. So I used to love going spending the night with them because number one, they had cable. We didn't have cable. We had regular TV. Our stations was CBS, NBC, what's the other one? ABC and PBS. So if it didn't come on the regular station, we weren't watching. But then I go spend the night with them. They had like TNT and TBS and all, MTV. They had the good channels. So I used to be like, man, I love coming over here. And then I remember back when I was in the 4th grade, on the way home from school, my aunt said she had to stop by we call it the record store. Because she said, my cousin them wanted, and yeah, I'm a Neon person. Because these particular cousins, they ginger them. If you ever hear me say ginger them, you know I'm talking about my cousin Ginger and her sisters and one brother. I'm with Ginger them. So whenever she had to stop by the store because at that time that was when Michael Jackson had came out with the Thriller album, and I remember being so excited because I was with her when she went in the store to buy it, and I remember, and it was the what do you call those albums, like what they call them, 45s, whatever. It was like the album that you put on the record player. So she bought that, and she bought Evelyn Champagne King. Because at the time, Evelyn had that song, is it You Make My Love? Yeah. Oh, you make my love come down, make it go. So that song was popular then. And of course, Billie Jean got Beat It and Pretty on PYT. Honey, you couldn't tell me nothing. The record wasn't even for me. I was excited because I got to go in the store with her to pick it out. And then when we got home, Jenny was excited because number one, I was coming. And how it worked out really good because even though my aunt lived 30 minutes west of us over in the Shoals area, she still worked where we live in her hometown. So it's not like it was out of her way to pick me up or anything. I had justified all this in my head why I should be able to go. She got to come down here every day to go to work anyway. She can just drop me off. And then the church that they went to, so she was close by, so she was even this way on Sunday. So if it was a school weekend, I knew I was coming home after church. If it's the summertime, just whenever she get ready to drop me off, when she going back to work, she drop me off. But honey, you can't tell me nothing. I was in the store when she bought the Thriller album. Yeah. I thought that was the coolest thing because my parents didn't do that. Well, I swear to God, we did have a record player. The only album I remember us having was Stevie Wonder. And I knew that darn Stevie Wonder album back and forth because it was the one where he had the Happy Birthday to You song on there for Martin Luther King. And hey, Bernadette, thank you for coming through, girl. I've been over here talking to myself, but it's all good. I'm glad to see you. What was I saying? Oh yeah. We had that one album, and we knew every song on there because it was the one, like I said, with the Happy Birthday to You for Martin Luther King. I forgot what else was on there. And then he might have got something else later on, but for the most part, that's the only one I remember. And of course, we weren't allowed to touch the stereo and all that stuff. And that was back in the day. I remember. I don't know if y'all remember. I don't know if y'all remember when it used to be. Okay, now in Bernadette, I know you probably remember back when the stereo was like this floor model stereo that looked like a big piece of furniture, and it opened up in the middle, and then you had the radio, the record player, and some of them had the 8-track thing where you could put that in if you was real fancy. Well, my grandparents next door had a stereo like that, and honey, that was the best when the holidays came and all of the family came around because you didn't get to, she didn't play it, grandma didn't let you play it every day. But if it was a special occasion, 4th of July, Christmas, whatever, they would let the kids get in there and dance and play the stereo. But yeah, they had, and my Uncle Jerry was a die-hard Rick James fan. When I was, what grade? I probably would have been like 3rd or 4th grade, I guess. I knew every Rick James song. I didn't know what Mary Jane was, but I knew the song. I knew, what was the other one? Yeah, Child dropped the needle on the record. Give it to me, baby. I knew that one. Give it to me, what you say. Give it to me, what you say. Give it to me. That one. Mary Jane. What's the one Helma redid? She's a very freaky girl. That one. I knew all the Rick James stuff because my uncle lived, ate, and breathed Rick James. You can tell him Rick James wasn't the man. And then my other uncle was crazy about like Atlantic. It wasn't Atlantic Star. I think it was Midnight Star. Because they used to be playing No Parking on the dance floor. And there was another one. But yes, honey, that was the miss back then. And then we would go to my aunt's house all the time. Like, and whenever, and it's still like, we still do this to this day. We always had the best time at my Aunt Eva's house. We call her Teen. That's my dad's sister too. Yeah, girl, I was born in 74, so I'm a 70s/early 80s baby. So I love all of that music and stuff. And I remember we would go over to my aunt's house, and anytime we had anything like as far as going, family reunion, like not what you gotta think about like this. My dad has 14 brothers and sisters, so even a casual get together felt like a family reunion by the time everybody got there. But after my grandma passed, they stopped coming. Like I grew up next door to my grandparents. So as people say, the home house was next door to us. And then after she passed away, people they kind of stopped. Family, it was hard on them. They didn't want to come during the holidays and stuff. So everybody started branching out, kind of doing their own thing for the holidays. But every now and then, we would get together for the 4th of July or something like that. We would go to my aunt's house. And my Uncle Charles was the man on the grill. He would do the hamburgers, hot dogs, all that stuff. And then he always had the music bumping. I remember it must have been 4th grade because the song that I loved back then was Prince, When Doves Cry, and what's the group out of Oklahoma? You Dropped the Bomb on Me. Charlie Wilson now. When I tell you, I was in love with Gap Band, and I loved hearing Prince, and of course Mike was doing his thing. But honey, you can't tell me nothing. He would put it on and just let the stuff play back to back. And I ain't never get tired. I'm one of them people I can listen to the same song over and over and never get tired of it. You have some people that be complaining like, you playing that again? It didn't bother me. So, yeah, yes, girl, I love Prince too. I used to like When Doves Cry. Now, Purple Rain wasn't really one of my favorites. I liked it, but I really loved When Doves Cry. Uh, Pretty Red Corvette. Uh, Raspberry Beret. All of that. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. So, but like I said, we didn't have it. Like we didn't even. I was one of them kids. Like I said, my parents didn't have cable, so we didn't have access to shows that came on cable. And then, as far as music, where we were, uh, okay, um, that's fine. And Bernadette, I'm just thankful you hanging out with me, girl. Um, Let me see, what's it? Music. So we would listen to one of the local pop stations, WZYP, and it's still around now. But it was more of a mainstream station. It didn't do a lot of like you have stations now that are all R&B. Well, they would play the popular R&B, but it's a little bit of everything. So we didn't know a lot of the songs and stuff. Like the other kids be at school singing, I ain't heard that. I ain't got cable, so we ain't seen no video. And we didn't have I remember my dad having a 8-track player, but he kept that in the car. So we listened to what we can listen to. Yes. Yes, I'm here. I appreciate your support all the time. I just don't catch you as much. That is fine. That is absolutely fine. I'm still trying to build watch hours, and it's a very slow process. But hey, I'm trying to be consistent. But yeah, so we couldn't we didn't have access. Like I kept trying to find a radio station that played all of the cool songs that the kids was listening to at school, but it just never I never could find it. Until one day, and we were so lame. We was the lamest damn kids. I think I may have been in like the 7th grade or something like that. And at this time, my mom was kind of driving. She was driving to Decatur, and I'm in there playing around with the radio because I heard them say something about Win, which was a radio station out of Birmingham. Now, mind you, we're an hour and a half away from Birmingham, so unless you had really good reception and a good antenna, it was kind of hard to pick it up. And that was back when they don't even make cars like that no more, do they? With the antenna on top. Remember the car used to have that long antenna on top? You don't even see an antenna. I guess they so modern now. The antenna is built into the car. But back in the day, uh, the folks that had the long antenna picked up more stations. So we was riding, and I was playing around with the tuning dial, trying to find the station. Man, I fooled around and hit the right at the right spot. Cause it used to be you had to dial and that little line you had to move. It was like trying to crack a safe. You turn a little bit this way, you turn a little bit that way until you finally get it. And I fooled around and heard some black folks music. You talking about me and my little lame brother in the car? We found it. We found it. We found it. We were so excited. We were so lame. We were so excited to find that station because I ain't never know them songs they were talking about at school. If ZYP didn't play it, and I'm a big '80s fan for pop and R&B because I love some who was big. I used to like Tears for Fears. I liked what was the girls that did Walk Like an Egyptian? I like those girls. I used to like the Go-Go's. I like George Michael and Wham. I grew up listening to the mainstream stuff like that. And it was okay because it seemed like back then everybody kind of listened to that and the R&B too. But the only R&B I would hear on the radio would be like the bigger people like Michael Jackson back then, Lionel Richie All Night Long. Um, who else was mainstream? Jody Watley. Uh, Girl, you remember Pusha Man's song Scandal? Pusha Man. I'm your mama. I'm your daddy. I'm your pusher in the alley. That song. uh, Yeah, and so like the songs that were really considered black music and then get played on mainstream, I didn't hear a lot of that until we found that radio station. And I was so excited. And then fool around when I got to be in like the 10th or 11th grade and we got cable. Oh, you couldn't tell us nothing then. Because we had access to BET, Video Soul, Donnie Simpson. I think back then it was just him, and then it started being him and Sherry Carter. And then you had um, Rap City with the guy Chris Thomas. You know, so honey, we you can tell us nothing. We had access to the radio station and we could see the video. Cause before then, we was the most vanilla children you would ever want to meet. Even with the rap songs, see, my dad ain't right. He would go get like for Christmas. We would get tapes sometimes, you know, because we once they moved past the CD era. Did y'all have the box with the dial? Yeah, yeah, we exactly the box with the dial. And what my dad would do is for the holidays, he would get us, you know, at this point he had bought my brother a beat, you know, remember back in the 80s when the boxes got popular and they was walking around with it on their shoulder, the beat box, you know, the radios like that. So he had got my brother one of those. And that was back when breakdancing had first got started. And I remember the movie Breaking came out and a couple of other movies and folks trying to spin around on the ground and do all them dance. So he bought my brother a kit. It wasn't a kit, it was like a magazine or I don't know, it was like this book that gave you step by step instructions on how to do break dancing. Like it would literally have a picture of him like this, like for the snake. It was like step by step. And me and him in there studying the picture. We was the lamest kids ever. But you know what? We had fun. And that was back when we did have like we had the tape player. So if a song came on BT or something like that that we liked that we didn't have, of course we're gonna put the box in front of the TV and press record. It recorded everything, the commercials, everything. That joke was so funny, but you know, my dad was going to go buy no tapes and stuff. So when he did buy us tapes, and I realized this when I got grown later, he would go to those bins where, like, back then the music stores we had were like, what was that store in the mall? Uh, it was a popular chain. The head in the mall because I was a singles queen. I would go buy instead of buying the whole tape, I would pay that $1.99 and get the single for the song I like. They usually had a regular version on the front. It might have a remix on side B or whatever. I did that because I rarely would pay. Because back then, what was it like $8 or $9 for a whole cassette? Like if you bought the whole album. So I was a singles queen. I still got a bag full of singles. I can't find a tape recorder nowhere to play them, but I still got a bag full of them. So my dad would go to the disc jockey. I think disc jockey was the name of the store in the mall. That sold music. He would go over there and go in that bin of stuff that's 4 and 5 years old and, and bring them home to us. Because I remember I was in, I wasn't in high school yet, so it had to be like 6th grade. He bought me was it Susan Anton? I think a Susan Anton tape. And then he got my brother, the one who used to sing that song. You got you got a big mouth. You never shut up. He brought those home, and we was excited, not realizing that stuff was popular 2 years ago. We going to school excited, talking about the kids like, man, that's old. That song old. Hell, it was new to us. But yeah, he used to get the stuff out of that bin and he'll bring it home and give it to us for Christmas and stuff. My dad has always been thrifty. He ain't finna pay no full price for nothing if he ain't got to. So his thing was you might be a few years behind, but you gonna get it. Like Run DMC, when the songs were popular, we didn't get it. It was probably 2 years later that we was finally getting it. Hey XL, thank you so much for joining in. Um, I appreciate you coming through and showing support. Definitely. Um, but yeah, my dad was like, we not doing all that. He didn't believe in, and he still don't believe in name brand stuff. He is the king, pun intended. He is the king of buying discount or off brand, or he ain't with that the name brand stuff. So like even in the fourth grade, when when Michael Jackson was out, everybody was getting a little beaded purse. They had a little purse, and then a lot of people had the glove, or they had the socks. And I wanted one of them little purses so bad. Everybody had them. When I said everybody had them, that was a guarantee that I wasn't gonna get it. Because his thing was, you ain't getting stuff just because everybody else got it. It's different if it's because you want it, but we don't try to keep up with the Joneses. And I'm thinking, I don't know but one Jones, and that's Sabrina. And I ain't trying to keep up with her. I didn't know what the phrase meant. So I'm thinking he literally talking about the Jones girl that was in my class. I'm like, well, but I be trying to keep up with her. But yeah, he was big on that. He don't believe in paying the full price for nothing. He the type, he'll literally get excited about finding some name brand at a discounted price. Like he a thrift store shopper. He loved it type of stuff. And so when we had a store here called Unclaimed Baggage, and it literally was people's unclaimed baggage. And the folks was made a store and was selling the stuff. So I was like, he'd be like, this some name brand stuff. I'm like, I told him one year, he asked what we wanted for Christmas. I was like, can I have something where I'm the first owner? I'm tired of getting stuff other people that wore or had. I don't care how good a shape it's in. Yeah, I want some. Can I get something brand new for a change? But yeah, my dad was trying to get it. He said it was for y'all. He ain't finna go broke trying to buy name brand everything for 4 years. And he meant that. Now, everybody had everybody had to guess. Remember when Guess was popular? And everybody had to guess sweatshirts and stuff. We had Guess Who. It still had the triangle, but it wasn't real Guess. It was Guess Who. And then I remember when the Coca-Cola and Pepsi brand sweatshirts and stuff had got popular. He went out and found some knockoffs of them too. And we didn't know no better. We was kids, so we thought we had what the other folks had. And then when I heard about how much it cost, I knew good and darn well he hadn't spent that kind of money. Not on because whatever he bought for one, he bought for all four of them. He just got in different colors. But yeah, my dad, he don't believe in no name brand stuff. And Lord, when I finally moved out, and he came to visit me, and he was looking for something, and he opened the cabinet and he seen some stuff. Like I had bought like maybe some garbage bags or something that was the store brand instead of Glad or whatever. And he just I never heard the end of it. What? As much as you complain about us not having name brand stuff, I know I ain't looking at here seeing no store brand. He like, it's different when it's your money, huh? I'm like, whatever. Cause like we would get, even when it came down to the food and stuff, everybody would have Oreos. We would have those black and white cookies. Or if we got some cookies that looked like an Oreo, it wasn't Oreo. It wasn't the real deal. And he would get like yeah, he would just get the off brand everything. Then Lord, they fooled around. They him found out about the thrift bakery store where the stuff was just about to expire. Like, and he could go in there and get them snacks and stuff for us. And at first I wasn't paying no attention. Then I was like, some of this stuff just don't taste right. Look at the expiration date. He a firm believer. Yeah, They were Rios or Hydrox. I don't know if y'all remember Hydrox. They looked like Oreos, and I think the pack might have even been blue, but it wasn't no Oreos. They were just black cookies with cream in the He wasn't even trying to be spending that type of money. And so, it was what it was. But he made it work because I remember him telling us, and for the longest it was just me and my brother next to me, Reggie. And we're like 2.5 years apart. So I remember when they came home and told us we was gonna have a new brother or sister on the way, and that things were gonna change because the family was getting bigger, and he was gonna have to start stretching the money, and so some of the stuff y'all used to getting, y'all might not get. And I'm thinking, hell, we ain't getting nothing now. What are gonna go to? So when I was 8, right after I turned 8, the twins were born. So we didn't just get one baby, we got two. So he really cut back on stuff. So we used to be like, dog, before the twins came along, life was a little bit better. Now we sure know. He sure know trying to stretch everything. But it is what it is. And he has not changed. You go to his house now and open the refrigerator, and he be trying to give you stuff to take home. Well, you know how older people, when you go visit, they feel like you can't leave their house. I don't know if it's like that everywhere, but in the South, if I go over anybody's house in the family or whatever, before you leave, they feel like they got to send you out the door with something. Here, take some of this home with you. You like crackers? Here, take a pack of them crackers home with you. And I'm just like, oh, I'm good. And then it's like they get offended if you don't want to take it. So we be on my dad's house, over my mom and dad's house, and he like, y'all eat so and so, don't you? Here, take this on back. And I'm looking at the pack, and it might be a name brand. It's like I swear to God, my nieces were here for Christmas the other year. He done went out and when they're coming, he buy a lot of groceries. But my dad and them living out in the woods in the boonies. So the girls, now that they're older, they want to come over to my house and hang out because my daughter has all of the updated stuff, and like the internet at my parents' house isn't the best or whatever. So he had bought the groceries. He was like, well, take some of that food over there with you. And I'm like, okay. So he gives me he had went out and bought some frozen pizza, and he gives me the cheese, and I see the cheese is name brand. So like he don't never buy you ain't gonna see no Velveeta, you ain't gonna see no Kraft, you ain't gonna see no Sargentos. He just is not gonna spend that money. So I noticed that it was like a name brand. I was like, what? Dad bought some name brand stuff. So get home, put the piece in the oven, sprinkle the cheese on top. Come back like 30 minutes, not 30 minutes later, but however long they have to cook. Open the stove, that damn cheese still in the same form it was in when I put it on the pizza. It ain't melted at all. So I pulled the pack out and get to looking at it. The shit expired like 2 weeks ago. I said, Daddy, you trying to kill us. He's like, ain't no mold on that cheese. Ain't nothing wrong with that cheese. Y'all rely too much on expiration date. And trust me, he the same with medicine. Like I told you, he's a nurse. He got his doctorate in nursing. But he will give you some medicine that's past the expiration date in a minute and be like, it ain't gonna kill you. Just take a little extra. It might be a little weaker, but it ain't gonna kill you. So that is his firm philosophy. He not into uh that free cheese. Oh, now my aunt was over there, like for the neighboring town. And she was one of the people that passed out like the commodities and stuff, the cheese and the peanut butter and all that stuff. And she would always give us something because my dad he made good money, so he didn't qualify for a lot of stuff. He made just enough that we could be broke and not qualify for free. So, but Margaret would sometimes give us that cheese, and it was good. But honey, that stuff my dad would buy is like, I don't care if you put that piece of cheese in the microwave for 45 minutes, it ain't gonna melt. It's still gonna be a square when you open it. when you open that microwave, I'm like, I can't. So I made it a point when I got grown. It was a lot of stuff I said when I got grown. I wasn't gonna do no more, and I stuck to it. Because one of the things was, we grew up in the country, so we always had a garden. And we had to get out there, and I dodged it every opportunity I could. I dodged getting out there in that sun, working in that garden, because I didn't even like vegetables. Why am I out here? So, they had a big garden because, like I said, my grandparents lived next door. So my dad and my granddad would both work the garden together, and they always planted corn and greens and potatoes and onions and tomato, all that stuff. And they'll have us out there picking the stuff. And I hate picking the corn because, I don't know if y'all have been through corn stalks, but it would itch your ass to death. Okay? So you had to put on some long sleeves. Same thing with okra. Trying to pick okra. You're going to be itching for the rest of the day. So I'm trying to protect any exposed skin when I go out there. And I was like, when I get grown, I ain't eating no more vegetables. And believe me when I tell you, I ain't studying no vegetables. People get excited about home cooked food and soul food and all that stuff. I'm like, shit, I grew up on that. We didn't do fast food. We ate at home every day. My mom cooked every day. So I said, when I get grown, I don't want none of that stuff. And people be like, you don't like okra. I like okra, but I don't like picking it. Because it will stick your fingers and stuff. And but yeah, we had the shuck corn. And other kids, they may have had to do it every now and then, but it was like that was part of our routine. And I'm just like, man, this ain't no farm. I ain't trying to be out here doing all this stuff. You was shucking corn, you was snapping peas, and then I had the grandma that did, they canned stuff. So, like I said, once I got grown, I ain't did none of it. Don't ask me to cook, greens, no collards, no fried corn, no none of that. Don't ask me to do none of that because I'm good on that. And it was so funny because like my coworkers, I had started a job, and a couple of my coworkers from my previous job had started working with me at the new job. So I was helping them out a lot. So out of appreciation, they wanted to treat me to lunch one day. So I'm like, okay, we can do that because we were working from home. So we decided to meet up at my friend Carol's house. And when I get there, they got some collard greens, some fried pork chop, some more vegetables and stuff, candy yam. I'm looking at this stuff like, and then they was like, well, we knew you were from the country, and we figured you would you would appreciate some home cooked food. I was like, I don't eat that stuff. I was like, you ain't got you got any ham, bread? I can make me a ham sandwich or something. I wasn't even finna waste her food like that because I don't want that stuff. I still don't eat that stuff. When I go over to the house for the holidays and my mama didn't cook, I might sample a little something here and there, but I ain't studying no butter beans, no, not the green beans was okay. But yeah, I ain't getting excited about all that stuff. But I didn't want to hurt the lady's feelings, but I'm like, I'm not gonna eat it. So I ain't no use me playing with it if I'm not gonna eat it. I said I grew up on that stuff. I don't even want to see it no more. So don't now my brother's different. My brother that's next to me, he will seek out a soul food restaurant. I'd be like, take me by somewhere else. I don't want that stuff. But anyway, y'all, we have gotten up to 54 minutes. So we're almost at the hour mark. M. Bernadette, thank you so much for hanging out with me and for participating in the chat. Thank you, XO, for coming through. Anybody else who's catching the replay, I appreciate you. Please hit the like button, subscribe and share, and we will be on. Watch for my post tomorrow. We'll be doing the business conversation tomorrow at 6 on Boss Life Online's channel, and it's going to be a special treat because the co-founder of the company that I have my home-based business through is going to join us, the $1 million man himself, and he's going to answer questions or whatever. So If you guys want to hear about how you can take your YouTube um, and make sure you're not leaving money on the table, tax wise or deduction wise, all that stuff, join in. It is worth it. Now I don't have a monetized channel. I'm trying to get there. But for those of you that get a 1099 for what you do, don't leave any money on the table. Learn what you can do to have write-offs and deductions. So check us out. I'll be sharing it on my community wall. But I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great afternoon, and thanks again for hanging out with me. Bye.